Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Neo, and in this video I'm going to show you how I was able to get this look on a client. So to start off, I've already shaped and filed the nails. I've also blended the tips, and I'm going ahead and starting off with a dehydrator and primer. It's the Mia Secret system. So right after that, I'm going to go and do a clear layer of acrylic. I always do this just because when clients come back for a fill, most of the time they want a brand new design. So it kind of helps to be able to file down back to this clear acrylic layer, and it just helps to protect the nail bed. So if they do come for a fill, I do fill with the clear acrylic, but the design will be placed on top. So I'm just doing that really quickly. Even if I do place a bead that's a bit big, you can see that I'm swiping most of it off so that it is a fairly thin layer, because her nails are not that long. I don't want to have a lot of bulk from this protective layer, basically. And now for the fun stuff. So when she came, she really didn't know what she wanted. She wanted her nails to match her toes. She had on like this really light peachy kind of color. It was like a pastel peach, and I didn't have an acrylic. Well, I did have an acrylic that matched it, but she didn't like it. So I was showing her, like what I had. I pulled out a container of like plastic flakes, and I was like, do you like this? There was a peachy kind of color that she was into. I asked her if we could add pink, and then that's how we came up with this design. So it was totally collaborative, and we just kind of figured it out on our own. So what I'm doing now is applying, well, what I did first was apply a very, very thin, almost like a paint layer of nail plate color. It's from Sugar and Cream. It's called Cake, and it's a really cool pretty just nail bed color. And I did that because she was concerned that if we did glass nails, she didn't like the way that her nail beds look. Like some of them are damaged because she like bangs her fingers sometimes, so some of them had like stains of like blood clots from like previous damage. So I just did that. But if you saw, I scraped off any acrylic that got towards the tip, because we want the glass tip look. So what I'm doing now is adding the flakes. I added like a very, very thin layer of clear acrylic, and I'm using the eye gel clear dip powder just because it's really runny, and I think it's great for adhering items if you're encapsulating. So I'm just adding those this is the AC, sorry. I'm just adding those flakes randomly in a diagonal from right to left down the nail, and then adding rose gold or copper foil flakes and gold flakes around the edges, kind of like a geode design, and just making sure that the tip of the nail has nothing on it. It is completely clear. So that's basically what I was doing on every single nail. If the flakes were really large, like you saw, I just took the scissors and like trimmed them small. But I just wanted it to be mostly pink and peach with the flakes, and then adding the rose gold and the gold flakes, metal flakes around the edges, just to give it a little bit of sparkle. And I think it came out pretty good. So that's what's happening for the rest of the nails. Okay, so I totally lied. On this ring fingernail, I wanted to do a clear and white marble nail, but when I started, she was like, oh, can you add some of the peach color to like tie it in? And I found this Mia Secrets, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a Mia Secrets glitter or shimmer kind of acrylic that kind of matched the vibe of the coral flakes that we were using. So I swirled that up in there with the white and the clear. And then as I was doing that, she was just kind of like, can you just add the flakes on top? So it is a cute marble nail, but we ended up just putting flakes on it. So this is the only nail. The ring finger on both fingers are the only nails that do not have a clear tip, but it's kind of cool because it does carry in the color scheme with the coral acrylic that we swirled in with the marble. And yeah, so that's the only difference between any of the fingers. The ring fingers are marbled and then have the flakes with the gold metal flakes on top. But yeah, the rest are the same. Seriously, look at how pretty this nail is. Just looking at it, it's so cute, the design that we came out with. I was really happy with the way that it came out. All right, so now that that's done on all 10 fingers, I am clear capping. So this was a little difficult just because as you can see, the flakes did not lie flat. They were very like tough pieces of like plastic. So a lot of them were like shards, like they stood up off the nail. So I knew that because the nails were shorter, I didn't want the nails to be very bulky. I don't think that that's an attractive look when your nails are short and super thick. So in my mind, I had an idea that I might have to file away some of the pieces. But when the pieces that you're encapsulating do not lie flat on the nail, you have to make sure that you get the acrylic at least underneath, in, around the pieces so that it's fully, secure to the nail, doesn't cause any issues with the nail strength. So I'm working really wet, and if you can see, I'm like smushing the acrylic all around those shards. Around the cuticle area is fine because I know what that is, but anytime where I'm working around those plastic flakes, I'm smushing that acrylic up, around, on the sides. If there's a shard that sticks out on the side, I'm pushing acrylic up and around it. I'm just making sure, like you see there, I'm putting it specifically there because there was a piece of plastic flake that was sticking out on the edge. So just making sure before I focus on the structure of the nail that I'm making sure that everything is encapsulated completely, because these flakes were not laying down as you saw, but they're super pretty. And I was okay with the idea that I was gonna have to shave off some of them later when I'm e-filing. But that's basically what I'm doing. Clear capping the nail, making sure that the structure is there. You don't need much of an apex on this one because the nails are not that long. But yeah, making sure that they're not too thick either because that's just not cute. So as you can see, I'm just going in again and again and again, adding acrylic wherever I need to. If it's to build the shape of the nail, or if I see a piece of the plastic flake sticking out and I want to kind of get it inside the nail. Remember, there's no wrong way to do this. You do not have to be able to encapsulate in 1 bead or 3 beads or however many beads. You use however many you need. As you see, like I'm going back to a nail that I already worked on. I'm checking the shape of other nails, making sure, okay, well, this needs a little bit more here. Just adding acrylic wherever I need to make sure that the structure of the nail is not, compromised, and that the design is not just going to fly away when I go to file. So just don't feel bad if you have to do that as well. Okay, so now that I am done and okay with that, I'm gonna start filing. And I did pretty good in maintaining the shape because I always clean my sidewalls, but this was fairly messy because I was smushing that acrylic everywhere. So as you can see, I'm like pushing her skin away before filing because I did get acrylic like on her sidewalls a little bit, but it's totally fine. I do use the McCart dust collector. It helps a ton, just having a dust collector in general, because you're gonna see soon when I start e-filing how much dust is all over the place. If I didn't have it, it would be a whole mess. So I'm grateful, but also looking into new options just because it is pretty bulky and loud. But yeah, I'm just filing, making sure to get the shape back and to file away the plastic shards as best as I can. So as you can see, I'm like roughing up the sides or maybe even the top of the nail. I'm using an 80 grit file. It's the same file that I used to shape the tips in the beginning. And just making sure that the shape is really sharp. Yeah, going over that tip you want, especially with this kind of shape, this tapered square on the short nail, you want it to be crisp. So as you see, I'm pushing the skin away. And as you can see on this nail specifically, I filed that off. There's a shard, a plastic flake that was like sticking up out of the nail. I just filed that off right away because I was like, yeah, that wasn't gonna be able to lay down, but it's totally fine because I did use the acrylic in a way to secure everything underneath that piece. So it's okay, I'm just filing and then I'm gonna go in with my e-file in a sec. And now I'm e-filing. So I'm using a medium bit, that I got from Amazon. It's from a company called Pana. It's pretty popular. And it's a medium carbide bit. It is pretty sharp just because it's new. I just got it recently. But I used a medium instead of a fine or an extra fine, which is what I would normally use because my application is pretty smooth. Usually I just use a fine or extra fine just to smooth things up and to clean the cuticle area, but I knew that I was gonna have to file down that plastic pieces, a lot of the plastic edges. So I used a medium bit because it wasn't too aggressive and it wouldn't like break down the structure too much. But the most of what I'm doing with this, besides cleaning up the cuticles, is getting rid of all of those chunky ass pieces of the flakes that were standing up out of the nail. Like if you ran your finger over the nail before I e-filed, it was so rough and scratchy because I could not get those flakes to lay flat. Like they were in all different types of directions. So I used the medium bit to make sure that I could smooth the nail out, but not too much to where I was like breaking down the shape of the nail that I wanted. But that's basically most of what I'm doing. Besides cleaning up the cuticle, I am filing off any plastic flake or shard that I feel on the nail. And you'll see me run my finger over the nail. I know I'm out of frame a bit, sorry. But that's basically what we're doing here with the e-file.
buff all the nails, and then I go in with a finer buffer block and buff them again. And I just did this because I knew I was just gonna top coat these nails. The design is basically encapsulated. We weren't gonna add anything because it'd just be too much. So buffing the nails as much as possible to get them as smooth, get rid of any grooves from that e-file or from the hand file, making sure that the nail is smooth, and then we're just gonna top coat. So before top coating, I'm just cleaning off the nail. There's a lot of dust, as you can see. This is just a lint-free wipe and Young Nails swipe. You could also use like water, have them wash their hands, or just like alcohol. But I'm just cleaning up as much dust as possible. You can see I'm getting up in there. And then for the final step of this really pretty design, I'm taking my new favorite top coat. Actually, it's a glossy top coat, no white gloss top coat from the Two Guys. And it's really, really good. It's really, really clear. I like it a lot. I just got it maybe a few weeks ago, and I've just been using the crap out of it. So it's a good one. And I think they have a sale. It's like buy 4 or 5 and get 1 free or something like that. And they have the huge, whatever. But I really like it. So all I'm doing is top coating each nail, being really careful about the sidewalls. I'm swiping my finger on that just to make sure we keep that shape that I work so hard to maintain. And then, yeah, put it in to cure. I think I let her cure for 60 seconds. You can cure for 30, but I let her cure for 60 just because I wanted to be like extra sure that this would be a good set. But yeah, the glossy top coat just brings it all together, and those pieces, especially just because they were in different directions, those plastic flakes just looked so cool inside the nail. And then the last step was to top coat the bottom of the nail. Because they were glass nails, we made sure that the tips of the nails were clear. So to get that true clarity, I just put some top coat on the underside of each nail, and that truly brought out the glass tip. So that was exciting. It was really, really pretty, and I loved how these nails came out. So these are the final nails. I really, really hope you like this. Watch me work. These nails came out. We were both surprised at how pretty they came out. The pink and the coral just looked so cool, and all the flakes. She was just like, I'm so in love. And if you see the shape as she's moving her nails, they're fairly, thin. They're not chunky nails, which is what was important to me. I wanted to make sure that she didn't leave with chunky nails, even though we did put a heck of a lot of stuff in those nails. So I really hope you like it, and hopefully I'll see you next time.